orders are not making the amount of news that they should, despite the fact that they are causing a lot of the problems that are plaguing this nation. The Commissioner of Police had to belabor the fact again that many of the victims of human trafficking being used to run the prostitution rings in this country now are themselves being trafficked into this country or entering Trinidad illegally on any of our unmanned coastlines. It has been this way for all of our independent history. And the advent of the drug trade in its infancy in the early 80s prompted the then government to commission what we now know as the Scott Drug Report that resulted in findings so damning to high members of society that we were unable to lay it in the parliament. Out of fear, I believe, for the destructive aspects of some of the names called. So what did we do? We swept our drug trade under the rug. We commissioned an inquiry with Justice Scott and then swept it under the rug. Between then and now, the 35 years that have passed, Trinidad has become a full-blown narco state. Besides which, we have entered into the world of human trafficking on a grand scale. How grand? In 2017, the then Minister of National Security, Edmund Dillon, admitted to the Parliament that 57 of this nation's women have been trafficked. He never said how he came to know that. He never said where they were trafficked to, what evidence there was, what their names were, and the media didn't follow up anything on it. But 57 mothers, daughters, sisters, friends were kidnapped and trafficked out of this country, and we've done nothing about it, and we've done nothing to prevent it happening since. That was 2017. Many women have gone missing since, and we are nowhere the wiser as to how many the actual number that have been trafficked out of Trinidad and Tobago is. What we do know is that there is a massive influx of predominantly Venezuelan national women being brought into this country for sexual slavery. And that is unacceptable. And this country is a signature to many of the United Nations edicts. And yet, when it comes to issues like the rights of children, the rights of women, we fall down so badly. But about the drug report, why haven't we ever, in all the time since, never recommissioned a commission of inquiry? If to do nothing else but to chart the course as to where we might be in the notorious narco world. We've shipped hundreds of millions of dollars of cocaine to Spain, Vietnam, the Philippines, Norfolk, Virginia, Canada, the United States of America. We found $600 million worth of cocaine on Monas Island. And all of these massive shipments of cocaine, besides becoming fodder for the rats that have an addiction to eating cocaine in this country, no one has ever been held responsible, with the exception of some very small fish, that if you sold them all for weight, you couldn't get $1 million, much less 600 million. So why has no government since the 80s taken responsibility for the well-being of this country and its citizens by at least finding out who exactly are involved in this massive drug trade, using Trinidad and Tobago as a narco pipeline to ship billions of dollars worth of cocaine and other contraband throughout the world? A drug enforcement agent based on an oil platform outside of Trinidad and Tobago said in the 90s, in jest, that more marine craft passed between the South American mainland and Trinidad and Tobago at night than were involved in the Normandy invasion. Obviously a joke to make a point. Why have none of our prime ministers, Patrick Manning, Basdio Pandey, Kamala Prasad Bisesa, and now Keith Rowley done anything of substance to close the borders of this country, secure this nation, and end the drug trade. At the same time, in 2017, the current Prime Minister, Keith Rowley, told the nation that he was aware that there were 37,000 illegal guns in Trinidad and Tobago. He never told us how he comes to know such a perfect figure. It seems random that you would know, like there was a stock check. And if there was an ability to check the stock, who checked it? But forget all of that. If you knew that there were 37,000 illegal guns in the country and you were the Prime Minister and you knew that they were the source of a lot of the violence and murder, wouldn't you have done something to stop the inflow of illegal guns, the AR-15s, the AK-47s, the Galils, and all the other high-powered arsenal that the underworld seems proud to display? Wouldn't you have done something? Why didn't the media press the Prime Minister between 2017 and now to account for how he knows and to account for what is being done to stop the inflow and remove the guns already here? We in the Progressive Empowerment Party, we are strong advocates for something called the Maritime Security Wall. And the Maritime Security Wall is the repurposing of oil barges, oil rigs that we have no use for, that are parked up down the islands paying a rent that nobody will ever need again. And it is the repurpose of them, the removal of the oil apparatus and the redevelopment of the surface to house Coast Guard, Customs, Immigration, Police, and anti-narcotics agents. 6 of them, 8 of them, positioned 3 miles out at sea in a ring, a line in the water we call the virtual wall, connected by the 360-degree radar and by sonar buoys, so that any marine craft attempting to enter Trinidad and Tobago's waters could be stopped and examined for contraband like illegal guns, human cargo, cocaine, marijuana, and any of the other contraband and illegal substances that currently walk their way up any beach into any vehicle into Trinidad and Tobago. 37,000 illegal guns should have been given a bounty by the government so that the police could pick them up for a reward. There is nothing like incentive to get people to work above and beyond the call of duty, and setting aside $60 or $70 million to effect that, once the borders are closed, would be a perfect use of money that are otherwise being dispensed for vanity and other wasteful projects. The $500 million that we spent renovating a red house that nobody needs could have built the Maritime Security Wall in half the time it took to renovate and restore the red house and secure this nation against the inflow of dirty money that has corrupted this country and ruined this economy. It would have prevented the importation of illegal guns and drugs that again are fueling the gang and violence culture, making blood flow like water in the streets of this country. The government has done nothing. We've bought boats. Every time the PNM is in office, we buy more boats. Is it because that somebody in the PNM is an agent of these companies, and when a sale is made, there's a commission to share among the boys? And when these boats come, why do we just park them up in Shagaramas and complain that there's no money for diesel and there's no money for corned beef and there's nobody trained? Why are we making a mockery of government and national security? And why are we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, accepting it? Equipped with fast attack helicopters and interceptor boats, the Maritime Security Wall would create an opportunity to stop all marine craft 3 miles out at sea so that law enforcement could examine their contents. There is another angle to stopping the inflow of contraband, and that is to unstuff all the containers on the port. The Progressive Empowerment Party advocates for the relocation of the Port of Spain to a facility 10 times its size in Point Lisas, so we can provide sheds supervised by cameras to unstuff all containers destined for Trinidad. so that none of the contraband could find its way to our shores. It is time, it is way past time that we stop accepting mismanagement and incompetence as government. We need answers from those in office, or we need to fire them and replace them with people who are capable of doing the job. The maritime security wall will end drug trafficking. Importation of dirty drug dollars will end the influx of illegal weapons, arms, and ammunition, and will stop human trafficking into and out of Trinidad and Tobago coal. So why hasn't it yet been done? Cannot be money. We find money for the stupidest of things. So why does the Prime Minister, the government, the leader of the opposition, and all of the parliament stand so silent on what is quite possibly the most pressing issue facing this country today, our porous and unsecured borders, making this a virtual criminal's paradise and allowing for all manner of criminality to take place? The Progressive Empowerment Party calls on the citizens of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago to write, phone, use text and WhatsApp everybody in public office, from the Prime Minister down. Ask the Attorney General, the Minister of National Security, why haven't we yet taken any steps to secure this nation's borders? Something as simple as unmanned drones positioned on the four corners of Trinidad and the two extreme ends of Tobago could do something like a job, but we do nothing. We've grounded our helicopters. We have no eye in the sky. We have no response. Our theater of operations is in the south, but our boats are based in the north, tied up permanently. What are we to assume as a people in a country that 40 years ago did an inquiry into the drug trafficking in this country and found results so damning we couldn't even lay it in our parliament? What is to be said of us that we've done nothing since and continue to lament the fallout of not having a proper run country where the borders are secure and all marine craft landing is done at designated sites where customs, immigration, and law enforcement can properly police and protect this nation? We are not going to get a better country making excuses for the failures of the past. We are not going to get a better country voting race and voting tribe. The only way to fix Trinidad and Tobago is to confront the problems that plague Trinidad and Tobago and vote effectively for people who demonstrate an understanding of the problem and a way forward and a solution. The Progressive Empowerment Party calls on all of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago to take their responsibility for this democracy a lot more seriously and stand with us as we call for a safe and a secure Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you.
Safety and T, we vote in PEP. Safety and T, Progressive Empowerment Party. TNT.